One of the primary sponsors of Easykart UK is Ginetta, with many of the junior and senior drivers making that leap from karting to cars in both the Ginetta Junior and Senior Race Series. One driver who's done just that is the former Easykart UK and World Champion, Luca Hurst.
Just tell us a bit about your history in Easykart.
I started in junior Easykart, made my way through to seniors. Lasted 2 years in seniors, I won my British Championship in the second year. Went on at the end of my second year to win the Easykart World Championship over in Castelletto in Italy. And just raced very competitively in Easykart for 3 years.
And you've currently moved now to Ginetta. How easy was that move to Ginetta, and what is the difference?
Well, the initial move was very difficult in driving style, but once you learn the car, it's very similar. You can adapt the racecraft to cars very easily. And karting is a very good, strong start to racing.
And what's the route into Ginetta? What do Ginetta provide to Easykart to help them to achieve this?
Well, the collaboration between Easykart and Ginetta is very important to Ginetta. It completes our Ginetta ladder, so you can start in Easykart Cadets, Easykart Juniors, and work your way up right to the top in Le Mans prototype cars with Ginetta.
And as far as Ginetta is concerned, would you encourage kart drivers to go that route or not?
Yeah, certainly, yes. There's a career in GT racing, and making your way from the Junior Ginetta Championship, proven to be the best car to learn to drive in. Very difficult, but improving the standards of driving and taking people through single-seaters and also GT racing.
So maybe one of these guys will end up in the same arena as Luca Hurst one day. But right now, the senior lights, Patrick Lay and Matthew Pearce on the front row. Alongside the E-plate, Kieran McCulloch is Robert Newman, with Jamie Crease and Jake Welsby on row 3 of the grid. The karts make their way out of the final turn, and we are getting ready for action with the number 1 at the very back of the grid. Sam Massey is going to work his way through the field, and it's going to be Patrick Lay who leads us off. We're on board with Robert Newman as he closes in on Matthew Pearce up the hill for the first time. Patrick Lay, third in the pre-final and won the final last time out, don't forget. And he doesn't have his brother to help him this time. There's contact and 2 karts off the circuit. That is the E-plate who has come together with Robert Newman, our camera kart. Let's have a look again on board. He's up the inside and they just end up going off the circuit together. Now, Robert had his arm in the air in protest at Kieran McCulloch. But I have to say, that's 2 karts going for the same bit of tarmac. You have to say that's a bit of a racing incident there between those two. I wouldn't really apportion blame to one or the other. Patrick Lay out in front. Matthew Pearce is Scott Clear in second place. And Jack Golding currently in third place. He was the final winner at round 3, don't forget. And there are problems there. That is the 215 of Keenan Saeed by the look of it. He is out of the race. That is such a shame on the final turn. Now there's yellow flags there down to the final corner, so there'll be no overtaking for the moment there. Meanwhile, Matthew Pearce is already trying to get away from the man in third position. We're on board with Robert Newman again as he closes up on the back of Mantas Zaromskas. Up towards the compression complex through 1, 2, 3 apexes of right-handers. Up on the left on the inside. And in front of both of these drivers is Anwar Beral Smith. So both these drivers are going to want to try and pick their way through the field one by one. Jamie Crease, the 133, currently running in 4th position. 3 years ago, he won the World Championships at Easykart, and now he's closing in, or trying at least to close in, on the number 3, Jack Golding, for a podium position here at Gleneagles Park. Great battles in the midfield. We're on board with Newman, and that is Massey. That is Massey just in front of him. That's for 12th position from the back of the grid. He's made up 10 places already then, Sam Massey. Watch out, boys. He is flying through this field. And it is not going to be long before he's knocking on the door of the top 10. The next man he's got to take on is Zaromskas, and that is not going to take him too long at all at the current rate of progression. So let's look at the field. It's Lay from Pearce, Golding, Crease, Hunter, Evans, Welsby, Walden, then Summerhays, Beryl Smith, Zaromskas, Massey, Newman, Snape, Hudman, Naylor, Top, then Kieran McCulloch, a long way down in the E-plate from Stanley, Davies, and currently the 188 Stuart Finn is trying to close them down. Up the inside goes Massey, on the inside there, on the 247 of Mantas Zaromskas. There's nothing he can do about it, so Massey is up to 11th place now. He is absolutely surging through. Now, the leader, Patrick Lay, under pressure. There's no James this weekend, so he can't have any help from his brother, so he's going to have to do it all on his own. And Newman has made the move now on Mantas Saromskas on the way towards the Devil's Elbow, so he'll be happy. He can now follow Massey here all the way around the circuit and watch every move he makes. He can actually use this to his advantage. Massey's going through the field like a cannon. He can just get onto the back of him and repeat every move he makes here, so he could end up getting himself firmly into the top 10 as well here. Newman's got a great chance to follow him around the... And already Lay is defending. Lay is defending here from Pierce. Now that is very, very early on in this race. He obviously feels that Pierce is matching him for one lap pace, and he just needs to hold on to his advantage here out in front. And this is causing him a bit of a headache, because closing up on both of them now is the number 3 of Jack Golding. So Patrick Lay, we've seen him in very commanding form earlier in the season, but here he doesn't quite seem to have the dominant pace he would like. So he's really struggling to hang on to this lead. Richard Evans, 8th position on the grid, currently running in the 6th position mark. Back to the front. Pierce trying every trick in the book to close in on Patrick Lay, but look, Lay is not getting away, and as a result of that, Jack Golding is closing in. Matthew Pierce tries at the inside, but Patrick Lay shuts the door very firmly indeed. Golding is desperately trying to close up on both of these two, and it's not going to take him long. Patrick Lay, he's quick, but he's not dominant, and that is going to be the key to this race. How is this one going to be decided? Back on board with Newman as he closes up on Beryl Smith. That's a very bold move on the inside of the left-hander. He sliced through, got his opportunity. Now that was a move that he really had to know he was going to pull off there. He had to commit to it and storm up the inside. Sam Massey working his way through the field. He DNF'd in the pre-final. That's why he started last. And he's now up to 9th position. Is there nothing this boy can't do in a kart? He is absolutely streaking through the field. Now, it's the pendulum has swung here because Pierce is now under pressure from Golding. Golding has caught these two, and he's now giving the number 9 some pressure. This is a bit of a respite for Patrick Lay, who has now built a lead of about 2 to 3 kart lengths. It tightens up through this twisty section of the circuit, but that's enough breathing space for Patrick Lay to be comfortable for at least another lap and a half or so, unless he makes a mistake. Mind you, Golding can now work with Pierce. It's still early in the race. They can work together to push their way through. Now Massey is still rocking around the top 10. Whoops, that was a bit of a moment there in the mid-pack. Kieran McCulloch is another man who's surging his way through the field in the E-plate. He's recovered up to 14th place so far after that little incident on the first lap with Robert Newman. Again, that's another racing incident that I feel two drivers will have a very different opinion of at the end of the weekend. Never mind about that though. Here's the battle for the lead once again, and now exactly what I thought would happen is playing out right now. Pierce and Jack Golding have decided to settle their differences by working together to close in on the race leader. So let's look at the field. Lay, Pierce, Golding still from Crease, Hunter, Evans and Wellesby. Walden has gone, so there's Summerhays with Massey on his tail. Newman's going with him. Beryl Smith and Zaromskas. McCulloch is next. Naylor, Hudman, Snape, Top, Stanley and Davies. McCulloch is making fantastic progress through the field as well, and make it that he is currently in 12th position. Massey is all the way up into 9th position at the moment, so he is absolutely streaking through. It's not going to be long before he's knocking on the door of a top 6th place now. So these three still very evenly matched, but still it's a bit early in the race for a banzai move. So Pierce and Golding are just watching every move Patrick Lay makes. It's very fascinating to watch this kind of battle. You may think that not much is going on with these three out in front. Everything is going on with this battle out in front. You're studying what the driver in front of you is doing, where he's turning in, where he's braking, how much the kart is travelling at the apex of the corner, how much curb is the driver in front using, is he losing time as a result of that? Sterling Moss always used to say the world's best classroom was several feet behind Juan Manuel Fangio, and it's the same sort of discipline. It is a brilliant, brilliant way to learn more about your craft. You never stop learning in karting, and that's why this sport is so successful. So the top three out in front: Lay, Pierce and Golding. Crease is still in 4th position, but he's not able to get rid of Hunter right now, who is putting in some absolutely cracking laps. There he is, Grant Hunter, the 257, just in behind Crease. Massey has now dealt with the 216 of Jamie Summerhays, so that puts him into 8th place. He is still making progress and still getting his way through the field. Back to the front. Oh, this is not quite the front. 4th position this is. Crease versus Hunter. Evans is on his tail. Wellesby, look back because Massey should be there. Well, we almost got a chance to look back. We go back to the leaders, and it's still as you were. Pearce and Golding just running rhythmically behind Patrick Lay. Now the fourth place battle going to be a little bit tighter perhaps than it would be for first position, because these guys know they are losing time to the podium sitters and they're costing themselves effectively a trophy. They need to work together here to get this gap down. Mind you, at this point in the race, I have a feeling that gap might just be too big to catch them up. McCulloch, though, he's in the midst of a squabble, but he's not making progress as fast as he would like. I have a feeling that just getting into the top 10 is about all he can hope for in this one. We're back on board with Rob Newman on the way to the right-hander. Oh, he's gone very wide. 1, 2, 3, 4 carts going. He's got a problem. Dear, oh dear. Robert Newman, well, he runs wide. He's trying to get the cart going again, but he's now lost 6 places. I have a feeling Rob Newman's cart may not be playing ball. It's trying to surrender. He's managed to get some pace back up again. Slight glitch in the mechanics, maybe. We'll have to see what his progress is like over the course of the next lap, if this is a terminal problem, or if, yes, it is a terminal problem, I'm afraid. Poor Rob Newman. He's not had the best of days at the office. Up the inside comes Golding. Talk about choice manoeuvre. He bandside for the inside of Spoon. They've lost touch with the leader, but he crowds Pearce out. He has to take 2 wheels onto the grass, and now we've got a mano-a-mano, if you like, battle for second position as one of the back markers moves out of the way. I think that's Keenan Saeed having restarted. But out in front, well, this is perfect for Patrick Lay, because that passing move, look how big a gap it's given him, and that's all it takes. Just one overtaking move, and you've got a big lead. Now, here's the battle for fourth position. Crease, Hunter, Evans, Wellesby, and now Massey in the number 1 joins the battle. It's going to be a 5-cart scrap over fourth position, and there's only going to be one driver who can take that place. So there's going to be 4 very disappointed chaps. But the big question now is, with these two battling away, can they actually close up for a podium position? It seems unlikely, but I've seen all sorts of crazy things in karting. And looking at the way they are pushing each other forward, it's not impossible. Patrick Lay enjoying the gap and having a nice drive in the North Wales countryside by comparison to the 2 men behind him who are still scrapping away like dogs for second place. But if they keep scrapping, they are going to lose time hand over fist to this 4th place battle. There's a back marker in the way, and Jamie Crease is trying to drop Hunter. He has done a good job there, but Massey might be the man who makes the difference here. That's McCulloch. He's moved up to 10th place now. So he has worked his way through the field gradually. He's in the top 10 now as well. And look, the back marker's already moved aside, but Massey's the man who can make the difference up the inside. And he takes the place. Jake Wellesby has to succumb to him, and up to, I think that's now 7th position for Massey. So he is making his way gradually through the field. But there might be a chance of a podium if he can actually work with the drivers around him to move up. They are running out of time, though. That's the only problem. And still these two are battling. Golding still hanging on to that 2nd place. Patrick Lay, if he were to look behind him at this point, he'd probably be feeling a lot more relieved. He hasn't really had much of a chance to look behind him. He's been so busy focusing on his own race. 9th place there. That's the 216 of Summerhays falling away a little bit. 10th place. Still McCulloch in front of Beryl Smith and Zeromskus, with Naylor not far behind, and then come Hudman and Snape, still battling their way up the hill together. They managed to get away from the back markers now, so that battle is for the lower end of the top 10. McCulloch is there in 10th position, but there is still a chance that any one of those 4 or 5 drivers in behind him can still snatch the place. Meanwhile, 2nd position, well, neither driver wants to be 2nd, they want to be 1st, but unfortunately they've buttered their own bread here, battling away for position. They have lost the toe of Patrick Lay, and they're going to have to potentially work together to get back on terms with him, but they might have already counted out the chance of victory and decided to battle away for 2nd position. Now McCulloch has dropped these 3, battling away for 11th place. That's Beryl Smith, Zeromskus and Naylor up the inside. Good overtaking move there. Committed, disciplined, and Evans is straight through up into P5. He's been waiting to make that move on Grant Hunter all race long. He saw his opportunity and went for it. I wonder, did he see Massey behind him and go, yikes, I need to step up my attack here? That's exactly what he needed to do, and he has got there into P5. Very nice indeed. Lay still dominating out in front. 4 to go, and it looks pretty much done and dusted, doesn't it? 4th place, Crease. 5th now, Evans. Hunter. Oh, Massey's already stepping up the attack through the first corner. This is going to be textbook. Watch this. He'll be up the straight, and surely they'll make that disciplined move up the inside at Spoon. No, he doesn't. He gets there before. Gets in beforehand. So Massey up into P6 now. He's got 4 laps, so I can easily see him getting into P4. Podium, I'm afraid, it's too long a shot. It's too big a gap. He's not going to get the podium, but 4th place will be a good points haul considering where he started. That's what's known as damage limitation in motor racing. Patrick Lay, how commanding is this performance out front? He is absolutely romping away. 3 to go. And Golding, well, he's not got second secure yet. Pearce is still breathing exhaust fumes from the man in front. And he is rapidly running out of time now, Pearce, to make this move. This is not like circuit racing where you want to be the man in behind the guy in front. They always say in racing it's easier to chase than to be chased. In karting, very, very different. You do not want to go into the last lap behind. You want to be in front and defend like crazy, which is exactly what Golding has now set himself up to do. Pearce is going to need to pull out something pretty extra special here to make the move and make it stick. He is about a kart length behind on average. Massey, though, well, nobody's told him that he's going to have to defend like crazy. He is on super attack mode now. He doesn't even know the meaning of the word defence here at Glanigorse Park. He is on it. Now, the leader, well, I'm afraid that's pretty much set in stone, barring mechanical gremlins. Patrick Lay has got on with it, done his job, and he's put himself in the perfect position, led from the front. Never, well, in the early stages he was challenged, but once that overtaking move came from Golding, he used that to his advantage and put in some killer laps. And ever since that point, he has not really been challenged for the victory in any way, shape or form. And Golding has just used this advantage of being out in front. He's not made any mistakes. He has given himself the perfect platform to work this second place to his advantage. We're going to the final lap, and I'm afraid Pearce is just too far back in my opinion. I don't see him getting that second place now. This final lap, though, up to 5th position has come the number 1 of Sam Massey. Golding may be the fastest man over one lap, but out on the circuit right now, you have to say Massey is the fastest driver. He's up to P5. Can he make it to P4 before the end of this race? He is charging hard, and there's only one man to go, and that is the 2012 Easykart World Champion. If ever there was a tougher man to pass on the last lap, with only a few corners to go, it would be Jamie Creese. Final few corners, though, for Patrick Lay. And he has absolutely commanded this race. In through the left, in through the right. Thank you very much for the memories, boys. It's my victory. Great drive from Patrick Lay. Pearce and Golding end up with Golding out in front, and Massey doesn't quite manage to get that 4th position. But what a fight back from the back of the grid to 5th position. McCulloch just ending up inside the top 10 there. Brilliant work from those two to fight their way back through the field. Nice little side-by-side outside the top 10 there. Perfect day for Patrick Lay, frustrating for Golding and Pearce. Unfortunately, though, for Elliot Stanley, his day ends in the tyres. Drama post-race as Kieran McCulloch, the E-plate, is excluded after overtaking under yellow flags on the last lap. And Sam Massey, as you can see, is classified as 8th. He's docked 3 places for an incident we didn't see. So it's Lay, Golding and Pearce who round out the podium. And after the race, we caught up with a very happy race winner in the number 175, Patrick Lay.
So Patrick, that was easy today, was it?
It's a bit easier than clay, which always helps. But it was really good just to actually qualify on pole and start from the front, which I haven't had so far this season. So it's nice just to be able to have some clean air and do some quick laps.
Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely. I mean, there were drivers behind you, certainly in the heat and the pre-final, that were going purple on the screen and thinking, oh, we're going to start seeing a gain here. Is Patrick going to get caught? But it seemed like you responded every time, and you just put it back purple next to your name.
Yeah, I was gauging on the circuit where the other drivers were, and then towards the end of the final, I just kind of backed off a bit. I didn't want to push too hard and make a mistake. But overall, no, really pleased. Good weekend and some good points.
Absolutely fantastic. So we move on to Wilson Mill next, double header. You going to be with us on that one?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Hopefully carry on in form. But I know I could really do some good points in the second half of the season. So it's getting exciting.
Richard Evans just behind Grant Hunter in the point standings, but he's obviously allergic to the cameras. We have no photo for him. In the race for the championship, the top 3 are covered by just 17 points, with Patrick Lay chasing down Jack Golding and Sam Massey leading by 4 with 3 rounds to go.